amen, from 3 words on today, amen, because I've been asking God, what's going on as it pertains to the ministry. That's been my prayer all week, amen. For the past couple of weeks, I've been praying, amen, and just crying out to God on God, what are you telling us concerning the ministry? Where are we at in ministry, God? And one thing that God began to really just begin to press on my heart. He said, son, you're going through growing pains. You're going through growing pains. We're in the early stages of ministry, and we're going to experience growing pains. We're going to experience it. I remember I was crying out to God, and God said, and the one thing that God began to let me know, he said, son, there is no way that you can expect to give birth without pain. I want you to catch that. There is no way that you can birth anything without what? Pain. I never had a baby. I never had to carry a baby, thank God. Amen. But you women, you know what it's like to carry a baby. Amen. 9 months. Amen. Then those of you that have to, amen, push out a baby naturally, God bless your soul. Amen. And then without the epidural, without all the, without being under any anesthesia or whatever like that. Amen. And you know the pain of labor. You know the pain of what it's like to have to push something up out of you. A 8-pound baby, a 10-pound baby. You know what it's like, turn it back. You know what it's like, amen, to have to push out something, amen, that you had to carry for, that you had to feel keep, that you had to, amen. There was nights when you was in bed where you were literally uncomfortable, amen. There was times, amen, where it just feel like you rolled on one side and you only could sleep on one side of the bed because the baby only likes sleeping on. Am I on it, women? Am I on it? Amen. But that's exactly where we are right now. I want to talk from a subject on tonight entitled, amen, provoke to produce. Provoke to produce. Look at your neighbor and shout, neighbor, it's time to give birth. It's time to give birth. I want to talk from that subject on today, amen. To the book of 1 Samuel, amen. We're going to ask the woman of God to read with us. I promise you there's so much meat in this particular passage that we're going to start the first verse, amen, and we're going to just obey God, amen.
Now there was a certain man from Ramathaim, Sophim, from the hill country of Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroam, the son of Edo, the son of Tebu, the son of Zophah, and Ephraimites. He had 2 wives. The name of one was Hannah, and the other name of the other was Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. Now this man would go up from his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice to the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. And 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were priests to the Lord there. When the day came that Elkanah sacrificed, he would give portions to Peninnah his wife, and to all her sons and her daughters. But to Hannah he would give a double portion, for he loved Hannah, but the Lord had closed her womb.
Watch this. Now she's in a place now, amen. Hannah is in a place. Could you just kind of paint the picture? We're going to walk through this. Peninnah, she's an Elkanah, amen. He has 2 wives, amen, as we already read. But one of his wives are the Bible declares her to be, amen, to be fruitless, to be barren, amen. Amen. One wife is able to produce, but the other wife is unable to produce. The Bible declares, amen, that the Lord has shut up her womb. Watch this. You got to watch this today. I promise you. Everything's going to make sense. Just bear with me as we just walk through this, as we navigate through this. Watch this. The Lord shut up her womb. And watch this. To be barren means not producing results. to be fruitless, not producing, or incapable of producing offering, something that is sterile, something that is sterile, something that is sterile. And watch this, watch this. We read the one thing that I learned about the womb. Watch this. The womb is a place of origination and a place of development. Watch this. The word origination comes from the word, watch this, original. Watch this, watch this, and watch this. And the womb is the place that everything begins. The womb is a place that everything starts. But if you, no matter if you have a womb or not, if God shuts your womb, no matter what you try to do, you aren't able to produce anything. Like so many of you right now, you've been wondering, God, why can't I start the business? You've been wondering, God, why is it that my vision haven't got off the ground? You've been wondering, God, why can't this just take off for me like God I wanted to take off? God said that you have been in a season of barrenness. Somebody shout barrenness. Watch this, watch this, watch this. You got to get this on tonight. Amen. Watch it. Can I let you know that Hannah wasn't the only one that was barren in the Bible. If you read in the book of Luke, amen, even Elizabeth, amen. Elizabeth was what? Barren. Elizabeth was barren. You read in Genesis chapter 25, verse 21, the Bible declares that Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife because she was barren. Amen. We read about Leah, Genesis chapter 2 and 29, that the Lord saw that Leah was unloved. Watch this, and he opened her womb. But Rachel was what? Barren. Watch this. We read about Sarah in Genesis 11 chapter 30. The Bible said that Sarah was barren and she had no child. And some of you've been wondering, God, why is it that things can't jump off for me, or why things can't start for me, God, the way that it need to be. But God told me, amen, to tell, amen, everyone under the sound of my voice that this is the season that he opened your womb. This is the season, amen, watch this. This is the season that you produce. This is the season, amen, that you see the results that you've been looking for. No longer when you have to look at everybody else and wonder when your time will come. No longer when you have to look at everybody else and you second guess yourself because of your incapability of being able to come. Can I just prophesy to somebody? Watch this, watch this, watch this. The Bible said, amen, watch this. What's to let us know that the womb is a place of originality, which means that I told you the word originality comes from the word original. Watch this. When you are original, that means that ain't nobody else got it like you got it. And some of you don't even understand that what you're about to give birth to, ain't nobody else done it, ain't nobody else designed it, ain't nobody else got it. Watch this, watch this. God told me, son, don't worry about those that try to imitate you, because many will imitate her, but none will be able to duplicate her. And you got to get that in your mind. It don't matter how many people try to copy you. It don't matter how many people try to mock you. Watch this. Can't nobody do it like you. Look at somebody and say, because I'm original. Don't nobody got it like me. Can't nobody rock it like me. Don't nobody got the swag like me. Look at somebody and say, I'm original. There ain't nobody like me. And that's why I'm not trying to be like nobody else. I got a bad watch this. It's hard to try to be like somebody else, but I got a hard time trying to deal with the problems that I got to deal with. I don't have time to deal with your mess and your problems. Maybe look at somebody and shout, be yourself. Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. I love it because watch it. I'm still in the book. I promise I'm still in the book. But one thing that we learned about Rebecca didn't stay barren. That when Isaac prayed, watch this, the Lord answered him, and the Rebecca's wife could see. We know the story of Leah. The Bible declares, amen, that God remembered Rachel and gave heed to her and opened her womb. Watch this. Y'all remember about Sarah? The Bible declares it in Hebrews 11 chapter, amen, 11 verse says, by faith even Sarah herself received the ability to conceive even beyond the proper time of life, since she's considered to be faithful and who had a promise. Look at somebody and shout, it's time to produce. We're going to read this before we go any further. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. To produce. It means to give what? Birth. Look at somebody shout. If you're producing anything, you're going to have to birth it out. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. John 15 verses. I'm the true what? And my Father is the gardener. He who cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit. Watch this. Why every branch? Watch this. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit. Watch this. He cut off every branch in me that bears no fruit. In other words, if you're in a season, watch this, you can't afford to have anything in your life that don't produce. Watch this, because anything that God created, He created to what? Produce. Watch it, He told Adam and Eve, He said, be fruitful and what? In other words, go produce. In other words, He even told the disciples, listen, to go out into all the nations and make what? Disciples. In other words, go out and what? Produce. Watch this. Watch it. In other words, watch the words. So watch it. Anything that's in your life, watch it. That's not bearing fruit. In other words, it serves you no what good. It serves you no purpose. Can I just prophesy to somebody in this place that God wants me to let somebody know in this place that everything that's in your life that's not bearing fruit but carrying torches. Some of you don't even realize you ain't doing nothing but carrying dead weight because watch this, because if you're carrying it is not causing you to produce then what you're carrying it for, what you're and so that's why God said, watch this, that's why He said that those that every branch that does bear fruit He prunes. In other words, He cuts so that it will be even more fruitful. And some of you got to know, amen, that you had to go through a hard season. What God had to cut on you. What God had to cut some things away from you. What God had to cut some things out of you. Because God can't afford for you to be infected. God can't afford to you, watch this, because what show up in what? Because what you don't put in the root will show up in the fruit. Look at what watch what the Bible declares. The Bible declares what He said. He said the fruit of the what? Spirit. Watch this. If you know what God said, when we talk about fruit, God ain't just talking about no apples and no oranges or no pears or no plums. No, He's talking about your love. He's talking about self-control. He's talking about your meekness. He's talking about your love. And watch this. Some of us until we can continue to catch hell until we learn how to love like God loves, until we learn how to walk in joy, until we learn how to be meek and humble, until we learn how to have self-control, until we learn even what it means to be temperate. Because there's no way you can say there's no way that you can say you like God if you don't even have the characteristics of what God said He's like. Wow. That's why I said walk in the what? Spirit. What's the Spirit? What's the fruit of the Spirit? The fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, amen, peace, amen, happiness, temperance, meekness, long suffering, all the other stuff. So that's why God said I got to cut on you because I know that there's so much more on the inside of you. I know, amen, that what's on the inside of you is far greater than what some of you got to stop being so hard on yourself and stop feeling sorry for yourself. Amen. You got to recognize that greater in you, that's greater on the inside of you. I tell you to look at somebody and shout, there's greater in me. Watch this. Read the book. Somebody shout double. Watch this. Hannah was unable to produce, but God still, He loved her so much, Elkanah, that He still gave her double.
Yeah.
Some of you right now, although you've been in a season when you have been unable to produce, isn't it something how God still take care of you?
Right, come on.
Yeah.
Read the book.
Her rival, however, would provoke her bitterly to irritate her.
Oh, I like that. Thank you for reading that translation. Watch this. Read it one more time.
Her rival, however, would provoke her bitterly to irritate her, because the Lord had closed her womb.
In other words, Peninnah, watch this. She was pure. She was picking at her. She was making fun of her. All because, watch this. The King James Version said her adversary. Watch this. I want you to watch this, amen, because amen. The Bible said we wrestle not against flesh and what? Blood. We wrestle. In other words, the Bible said 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8, amen, to be sober, be vigilant, for our adversary, the devil, walks our adversary, the what? Devil. Watch this. And in right here, 1 Samuel chapter 6 is calling Peninnah her adversary. But watch this. Your adversary ain't flesh and blood, but your adversary is what? The devil. Watch this. What the devil? He tried to cause, amen. In other words, Peninnah tried to make her life miserable. Peninnah tried to make her life, amen, a living hell. I can imagine her every time she see her. She was at hi, that's why you can't have no baby. She'll show off with her baby. Amen. She began to make her feel bad in her presence. Not knowing, watch this, not knowing that, watch this, that although, amen, Peninnah, amen, was provoking Hannah, but she was provoking her in the right place. In other words, Peninnah, she didn't even understand that she was pushing her to a place that she needed to be. And some of you don't even understand that sometimes God will allow the enemy to cause irritation in your life. Now watch this. You would have thought, amen, that it would have came from the outside. You would have thought, amen, now watch this. Why couldn't be none of her relatives? Why had to be, amen, it was somebody in her own house that was causing her to be irritated. It was causing her to be pushed to a break. Can I tell you something? God ain't going to use someone that's far away. God is going to use someone that's close to you to push you to that place that you need to be. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. She didn't even understand. Look at somebody and say, I thank God for my pushers. I thank God for everyone that pushed me. Everyone, amen, that meant evil against me. The Bible declares, watch this, that what you meant for evil, look at somebody and say, God meant it for my good. God meant this thing for my good. Why? Because every time I turn around, God still bless me. Look at somebody and say, I thank God for my pushers. Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. Irritation. Somebody say irritation.
Irritation.
I always thought it strange, amen. I wanted to know, amen, but did you not know how pearls are formed in an oyster? Watch this. Many of you that never knew, amen, how pearls are formed. Watch this. The oysters make pearls. If y'all didn't know that, amen, I'm going to give you a little biology lesson on today. Oysters make pearls. Watch this. In response to an irritant. You got to get this. Watch this. An irritant is a substance that causes slight inflammation or discomfort to the body. Watch this. A thing that is continually annoying and distracting. Watch this. I'm going to read that one more time. An irritant is a substance that causes slight inflammation or other discomfort to the body. A thing that is continually annoying and distracting. Watch this. The Bible says, it says, oysters make pearls in response to an irritant, such as grain of a sand or any object, any other object. Watch this. It says, when any irritant makes its way between the shell and the mantle, watch this, the creature produced Nakar, or N-A-C-E-R. In other words, whenever the sand of grain, amen, goes in between the mantle and the shell of the oyster, watch this, it causes it to produce, because watch this, the grain of sand causes the oyster to be in a place of discomfort. Amen. Watch this, the grain of sand it's annoying. It's something that's distracting. It causes the oyster to be in an uncomfortable place. Can I just talk to somebody that's been in an uncomfortable place? Can I just talk to somebody that have been having things in your life that have been annoying to you, things that have caused things to be aflame in your life? The reason why God allowed you to be put in that position, because he said, I'm trying to cause you to produce something that you couldn't produce on your own. So I had to allow a trial. I had to allow an attack. I had to allow some tribulation, amen, to be present in your life, because without it, you won't be able to produce. Watch this, watch this. It says it's a protection this, the Laddron is a protective coating that helps reduces the irritation. Laddron also referred to as the monopole. Watch this. It's made of microscopic crystals, calcium carbonate, and also line the interior of the shell. Watch this. Watch this. You gotta watch this. The difference between naturally developed pearls and cultured pearls is that the pearl former embeds the irritant between the shell and the mantle. How? By cutting into the tissue.
Oh my God.
In other words, form raised oysters. Watch this. If they want to get the pearl, watch this. They don't use sand. The former himself will have to cut into the tissue to cause, and by cutting into the tissue, watch this, the irritants, watch this, it simply cut to the soft tissue, and it begin the pearl making process. And some of you got to get this. The reason why God said that I had to cut on you, because I'm getting ready to cause you to produce. What does produce mean? To produce means to give what? Birth. Look at somebody and shout, I've been cut to give birth. I've been cut to produce. I've been cut to do something that I haven't seen, an ear haven't heard it, nor haven't entered into the heart of man, the things that God has prepared for them that love him. Read the book.
After year, as often as she went up to the house of the Lord, she would provoke her. So she wept and would not eat.
Watch this. She was messing with her so much. She was provoking her so much that she couldn't even eat. Well, and not just eat. It's one thing to lose your appetite. But it's another thing to lose your appetite and not be able to sleep in the process. Could you imagine how much weight she lost? Watch this. She went on a fast that she didn't even know. Watch it. God put her on a fast and then she didn't even want to go on a fast. But her irritant caused her to go on a fast. Some of you don't even understand that some of you, God done put you in a situation where even though you didn't want to put your plate back, even though, watch this, you wonder why you can't sleep at night. You wonder why, watch this, He not only took your appetite, but he also disturbed your sleep because some things that was going on in your life, not knowing, I allowed, God said, I allowed that to take place because I know, watch this, I know you were going to push the plate back on your own. I know if I would have never allowed it, you'd still been sleeping in counter. You'd still been sleeping in the midnight hour. But if I allow some things to get hard, if I allow some things to get difficult, watch it, the Bible even declared, watch it, she began to cry. She cried. How many just had some situations that the only thing that you could do was cry? In other words, Hannah, she found herself in a broken place. She found herself in a helpless place. She found herself in a hopeless place. Like so many of you ain't cried like you done cried in these past 2 weeks. You done snotted, you done rolled, and then you done went through so many boxes of Kleenex, and you tried to figure out, Lord, what are you doing to me? And God say, I am breaking you. I am getting you up out of you. I have to allow things to get uncomfortable. Watch this. Watch this. Going with the wind. Watch this. I think about them Indians that used to go out there and chase them wild Mustangs. The wild Mustang. There's no way that you'll be able to go get on a horse, a wild horse. Watch this. Unless, in order for you to be able to ride a horse, you first got to be able to break it. In order for you to be able to ride it, you first got to break it. In order to ever been to the skating ring or whatever, amen, they gave you those glow sticks and stuff like that. Watch it. In order for the stick to be able to glow up, or the stick to be able to have light, the stick first got to be broke. Before Jesus ever fed the 5,000 with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, before he blessed it, he first broke it. And some of you asked God for the blessing, but you didn't know the order in which the blessing was supposed to come. God said, I can't bless you before I break you. In other words, the breaking is going to come before the blessing. That's why the warfare has an increase in your life. It's not that your blessing is not coming. Your blessing may seem delayed, but God said, I understand that, watch this, the birthing of your greatest miracle is always surrounded around great warfare. Watch this, whenever Moses was about to be born, the king sent out a decree to kill all the male boys. Whenever Jesus was born, what did the king do? He sent out a decree to kill all the male boys. Can I tell somebody under the sound of my voice that the enemy now, he took a beat of your due date, and watch this, he sent the assassins after you to try to kill what was on the inside of you. But God said, that's why I had to put you in a season where I had to hide you. Some of you don't even understand that God said that I'm hiding you because there's assassins that are looking for you. I'm hiding you because of what I'm getting ready to do. The enemy is after what's on the inside of you. The enemy, watch this, he knows that if you ever give birth to what you're carrying on the inside of you, the enemy knows that lives are about to be changed. He knows that your household is about to be shifted. He knows, amen, that what's on the inside of you, that if you ever give birth to what's on the inside of you, that you're getting ready to turn your community upside down. He knows that if you ever give birth to what's on the inside of you, some things are about to change. That's why the warfare is the way that it is. But look at somebody and shout, what do you do in the midst of the warfare? Look at somebody and say, what do you do in the midst of the warfare? Look at somebody and say, neighbor, this is what you do. Push. That's what you do in the midst of the warfare. And you know what push is an acronym for pray until something happens. While the warfare is crazy, while the warfare is all around me, look at somebody and shout, when the enemy do find me, guess how he gonna find me? He gonna find me on my knees. Look at somebody and say, when the enemy find me, he gonna find me giving my God some praise. He gonna find me in a prayer posture. Don't worry about the invitation that is in your life. Look at somebody and say, God's getting ready to get the glory.
God's getting ready to get the glory.
Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. Read the book, hold on.
Then Elkanah, her husband, said to her, Hannah, why do you weep and why do you not eat? And why is your heart sad? Am I not better to you than 10 sons?
Keep reading, keep reading.
Then Hannah arose after eating and drinking in Shiloh. Now Eli, the priest, was sitting on the seat by the doorpost of the temple of the Lord. She, greatly distressed, prayed to the Lord and wept bitterly. She made a vow and said.
She made a what?
She made a vow and said.
Watch this, watch this. In other words, a vow is a promise.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know why now some of us, we're afraid to make vows to the Lord? Because watch this, we know that we won't be able to keep our promise. With a vow also comes what? Commitment.
Yes, sir.
In other words, she was in a place where, God, if you do this for me, in other words, watch this, watch this. She prayed so long until she began to be sore. She wept so, she prayed so long that she couldn't even cry no more. And some of you, you're at that place right now that you've been crying for so long that you can't even find a tear in your ear. No matter, the only way you better fight, you gotta sprinkle some water on your face or whatever. In other words, some of you, you're just in a place right now when you're told, God, I can't even afford to even cry, even if I wanted to. Some of you, you don't cry all that you can cry. And God said that the next step is that I need for you, watch this, how bad do you really want it? Do you want it bad enough that you can make a commitment to me? Do you want it bad enough that you can make a vow to me? The Bible has in the book of Ecclesiastes that when you vow to God, watch this, do not delay in paying it, for he has no pleasure in fools. Pay what you vow. In other words, do what you told God you said you was going to do. It is better that you should not vow than that you should vow to God and not repay. God wants me to let somebody know tonight that I'm coming after what you told me. In other words, I'm coming after you. In other words, some of us, I know that the Russians, you know what I did when I read that? I said, God, I made a vow to God. I I said, God, I'm willing to commit. I'm willing, God, I'm willing to commit, God. No matter the price, I'm willing, God, to pay the price. No matter whatever it takes, God, I'm willing, God. I wonder how many of you right now that can say, God, I vow, God, that I'm going to commit, I'm going to be dedicated. I vow, God, that I'm going to put you first. I vow, come on, how many can just say, God, but whatever it takes in my life, God, I make a vow to you, God, that I'm not going to look back. I make a vow, God. Watch this. She read it. Read the book, read the book, read the book.
O Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your maidservant, and remember me, and not forget your maidservant, but will give your maidservant a son, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life.
In other words, God, what you give to me, I just want to push it out. I'm going to give it right back to God, right back to you. And watch this, watch this, watch this. Can I ask you something? Watch this, some of you right now, amen, God is saying, listen, when I give it to you, because listen, I'm a man of my word, I'm a God that I can't lie, I'm a son of man that I can't repeat. But when I give it to you, what you've been asking for, watch this, all I want for you to do is do what you ask. If you said you was going to give it back, well, look at somebody shout, give it back. If you said you was going to stay faithful, what you got to do? You got to stay faithful. Last verse, I promise you, last verse. Read the 19th verse and we're getting ready to get out of here.
Then they arose early in the morning and worshiped before the Lord, and returned again to their house in the Ramah. And Elkanah had relations with him and his wife.
And then she knew him. She knew him. They had an intimate time. Watch this. There is no birth. Look at somebody shout, neighbor.
Neighbor.
In this season, God is not after a one-night stand. Look at somebody shout, God is looking for a long-term relationship.
Glory.
Some of us, we have been giving God one-night stands. What do you mean by one-night stands? In other words, we hit it and we quit it. In other words, we seek fulfillment for what we're going through. We watch this. In other words, y'all like y'all don't know what a one-night stand is. Y'all know, you know what I'm saying? Late at night, the clubs, amen. You got that one, you know what I'm saying? You call, you know what I'm saying? And then be done with it, amen. But God is not. God said that if you're gonna commit to me, watch this. I'm after your life. I want every part of you. I want every fiber of you. I want everything. I want every part of your being. You got to be willing to sell out. You got to be willing to watch this. And that's one of the problems in the body of Christ is we don't want to sell out. We don't want to sell out. You know, we just want, the only time we really come to God is whenever we go through trouble, whenever things get bad, or whenever things, amen, whenever God, oh God, I can't take no more, whatever like that now. Watch this. If you wait till things are going bad, amen, watch this. If you wait in the midst of trouble to start praying, then baby, you're already in trouble. You want to learn, watch this. God, I want to see if you can yet praise me even in the good. If you can yet stay faithful even in the good. Don't just stay faithful when things get bad. Because watch this, God can't trust you if things get good. Watch this, if things just get good, and watch this, if you go back on what you told God, then watch this, then God can't trust you. God can't even trust you. Can God trust you? Look at somebody and say, can God trust you in the midst of the good, the bad, and the ugly? Read the book.
And the Lord remembered her.
The Lord what?
Remembered her.
The Amplified Version said the Lord remembered her prayer. In other words, some of you that have been making petitions to God, can I just prophesy this atmosphere? God wants me to let you know that He has remembered that which you have prayed. Some of you right now, God wants you to know on today, I promise you, amen, I promise, listen, if I be a man to God, I know that I am. Listen, some of your petitions have been answered. But watch this. Although God answered her prayer, the baby didn't come the next day.
Come on. Right.
That's what's messing us up. We're asking God, have you heard my prayer? God heard her prayer, but the next verse says what?
It came about in due time.
It came about in what?
Due time.
It came about when?
Due time.
That means that it wasn't overnight.
That's right.
You couldn't UPS this. You couldn't FedEx this. In other words, this didn't come, amen. I know they said we've been made endure for a night, but joy come in the morning. You never know how long your night may be.
Yes, sir.
You're right.
Yes, sir.
You're right.
We so quick to say that, amen, I'll get there and do it. But when, amen, at 12 o'clock, joy knocking. Joy gonna show up in the morning. And it's morning time, you still in hell. You still asking God, watch this. Do you not know, amen, that our days are not like God's days?
That's right. That's right.
And then watch this. Your night might take 2 years. Your night might take 6 months. You never know how long your night may be, but can you endure even in the midst of the darkness? Watch this. It takes 9 months to carry a baby. That means that God, although God, watch this. And when I love God, watch this. I guess what really encouraged her was the fact that she knew that she was pregnant. I could only imagine Hannah being so happy and giving God praise in her 3rd month, her 4th month when things beginning to show. And God is showing some of you, watch this, listen, I just want to, I'm getting ready to really show you that I'm still going to do what I told you that I was going to do. I'm just going to give you just a little glimpse. I'm going to give you just a little taste, just to let you know that I haven't forgotten about you. But watch this. If a woman that's pregnant in 3 or 4 months, she can't give birth until full term. And some of you wanted to give birth, but God said that you're not developed yet.
All right.
My God. My God.
Some of you're wanting to give birth, but God say, no, it's not the due time yet. You still, watch this. One thing I learned about a baby, they tell you don't smoke when you're pregnant.
That's right.
Don't drink when you're pregnant. And you got to even watch what you eat when you're pregnant. Why? Because if you smoke and drink while you're pregnant, watch this. In other words, if what you put in you, the things you put in you could be detrimental to what you're carrying. Hear me by word of the Spirit. But what you put on the inside of you can be detrimental to the thing that you're carrying right now. The question I want to ask you tonight is, what have you been feeding your baby? What have you been putting on the inside of you? Amen. Watch this. Even when it's time to be born, some women go through their 9th trimester, to the 3rd trimester, and still have a stillborn. What have you been putting on the inside of you that will grow that baby on the inside of you? What have you been digesting? What have you been around, amen, that's causing your baby, amen? Watch this.
Come on now.
Some of the hardest babies to raise is a preemie baby.
Come on.
A preemie baby is that baby that come too early. But Terrence said, that's me. Watch this, you got to watch the wisdom. If you give birth to what you're carrying too early, then that means that, watch this, babies that are in a preemie baby, they go straight to the NICU because they have trouble breathing on their own. They can't really function on their own. And watch this, you don't want to have a preemie in this season. You don't want to miscarry in this season by allowing yourself to be around the wrong things and allowing yourself to be fed with the wrong stuff. The devil is a lie.
Amen.
Look at somebody and shout neighbor.
Neighbor.
I can't afford to miscarry
I can't afford to miss it
in this season.
in this season.
Can I tell you something? The one thing that I grabbed, amen, from Elizabeth and Mary, since we're talking about pregnancy, I love the fact that whenever Elizabeth had connected with the right connection, something on the inside of her was stirred up. Can I ask you a question? Are you connecting yourself with people that will make your baby leap?
Come on.
Some of you got to be careful even who you have in your delivery room.
Come on.
Because watch this. Oh my God. Watch what I just heard. Be careful in this season. Watch this. Because watch this. Your midwife can actually be your assassin.
All right now.
Your midwife could be that very one, amen. That watch this, that have been sent on assignment to kill what's on the inside of you. Don't you think for one instant that everybody is happy because they know that you're carrying something on the inside. Don't you think that everybody's going to be happy because of what you're about to give birth to?
Yes, sir.
Watch this.
Yes, sir.
When women that are pregnant, I got to stick with this. When you're pregnant, a woman that haven't had the ultrasound yet, watch this.
Come on.
It's hard to really determine the sex of a baby unless there's an ultrasound.
That's true.
What are you trying to say? Sometimes it's good to make people wonder.
All right.
And people guess what's on the inside of you, and then until you would tell them the sex of your what? Baby.
Come on. Yes, sir.
Joseph messed up and he caused unnecessary warfare
Come on.
because he spoke out of season. And some of us, our warfare has been coming because we spoke too soon. When God told you to shut your mouth. But because, amen, you got diarrhea of the mouth, you couldn't even hold it. Amen, you spoke too soon. Look at somebody and shall learn. God, give me an anointing to shut up.
Give me an anointing to shut up.
Give me an anointing to keep my mouth shut. Give me an anointing to keep my mouth shut. So much that we can learn from this text. And I'm closing. I've been running around the church today. We didn't do backflips, amen, cartwheels. We didn't do Gabriel Douglas on today. But there's so much that we can learn from this particular. Give me something soft, just something soft. So much that we can learn from this. God said, son, that's exactly where the church is at. God said, I've seen us. God said, be mindful because there's assassins on the loose. God said, be mindful because there's assassins that's on the loose. One thing about snipers, they hide in the towers. They hide and they can hit you with that 50 caliber from a mile away. In other words, the enemy don't even have to be by you to kill you. He don't even have to be by you to kill you.
Yes.
But he can send something at you
Yes.
to devastate your whole life. I put something on the Instagram. And it was a quote that said that it was something, how did I put it like this? It was like, the key to reaching your destiny will be determined by your ability to keep moving forward. Some of us, watch this, we're going to allow our circumstance to stop us
Yes.
because we haven't learned how to move forward.
Sir.
You're pregnant. This ministry is pregnant. This ministry is pregnant. You'd be crazy to think that this is the highest that we're going to go.
All right.
You'd be crazy to think that this is all that we'll be able to be in this ministry. You'll be crazy. You're a fool. You're crazy.
Come on.
You're crazy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Crazy. One thing that I know, is God can't fail
That's it. You won't fail. Yes.
and God can't lie. Everybody stand to your feet, brothers and sisters.